like that, the body shots like that you rarely see, and they flush and place at the right moment, at the right time, they can sit you down, and it may take a little more than 8 seconds to recover from them, more like 30.
Is it something only the fighter knows?
I think Jay got that one, you know what I mean? That referee, that was an immature point, took it. I think Jake Paul needed that knockdown. What he had, I think that kind of evened it out.
Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis just gave us one of the wildest size versus skill clashes boxing has seen in years. And it ended with a brutal knockout people are going to be replaying for a long time. The YouTuber turned pay-per-view star walked in the much bigger man. The proven world champion walked in the much better fighter. By the final bell, only one of those things mattered. Fans expected chaos, analysts expected controversy, but nobody expected a finish like this.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis, they just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over with.
The size difference, the power difference, the experience, the pressure, all of it collided inside one ring. And the ending? Let's just say this matchup proved exactly why the boxing world had been debating it for months. This matchup shocked the entire boxing world when it was announced. Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis, a smaller fighter, but an undefeated knockout machine. And even though Tank fights at 135, while Jake walks around near cruiserweight, the public still believed Tank could knock him out cold. That's how dangerous he is. People weren't just watching to see if Jake could win, they were watching to see if Jake could survive.
It's kind of weird, because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank. And I mean, but with it being a exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine. He got a big name that he's gonna be fighting. But I mean, it really makes no sense because he's gonna be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank is gonna probably be weighing maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand why the fight is happening.
Jake opened the first round using the same approach he used against older fighters like Anderson Silva and Mike Tyson. Long jab, big steps back, staying tall, trying to get Tank to lunge. Analysts who predicted Tank would struggle with distance immediately felt justified. Tank had to slip under that longer jab, navigate nearly 50 pounds of weight difference, and get inside without eating a clean right hand.
Jake Paul, I think when he weighed in for Mike Tyson, was 227 pounds. That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference. Almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. That is called one thing. That's called being a bully.
Yet the first surprise came early. Tank wasn't intimidated. He slipped Jake's jab and countered with a sharp left that shocked the crowd. Even though it didn't knock Jake down, it proved something important. Tank's power carried up, even against a much bigger opponent. Jake felt it. You could see a noticeable change in rhythm. He stopped bouncing. He stopped throwing combinations. The respect factor was instant. Round 2 is where the fight got interesting. Jake adjusted and started walking Tank down, leaning on him in clinches to sap the smaller man's energy. Boxing commentators highlighted this as Jake's smartest early strategy: make Tank carry weight, slow him down, force him onto the ropes. And for a moment, it worked. Jake landed a clean right hand on Tank's guard that pushed him back several steps. Analysts pointed out the sheer force difference. A 200-plus pound puncher versus someone Tank's size? Even block shots were affecting him. But Tank never panicked. He circled, reset, and waited. That's when the real danger began. By round 3, Tank started reading Jake's patterns. Paul's right hand always came after a feint. His jab dropped after extending. And his footwork had a consistent rhythm. Tank does not need many openings. Once he finds a pattern, he capitalizes fast. Commentators noticed Tank shortening the distance. His entries became faster. His head movement more aggressive. Jake's body language shifted again. He was no longer dictating range, he was reacting. And then, the punch landed. A short counter left, nearly invisible on the broadcast. It snapped Jake's head back, and the crowd erupted. Suddenly, the story of the fight flipped. A smaller man wasn't just surviving a massive size disadvantage, he was taking over. Jake survived the round, barely. Round 4 was the first round where Jake showed visible damage. A bruised cheek, slower reactions, heavy breathing. Analysts said this was the moment Jake realized he wasn't just fighting a smaller opponent, he was fighting one of the most precise knockout artists alive. Tank increased his output, mixing headshots with brutal body counters, and the size difference actually started working against Jake. He couldn't react fast enough. Tank's speed created openings Jake couldn't close. We entered dangerous territory. The momentum exploded in round 5. Jake tried to bully Tank again, but Tank slipped under a wide hook and fired a tight uppercut straight through the middle. This was the most significant punch of the fight so far. Jake staggered. The crowd stood up. The energy shifted instantly. Jake clinched repeatedly just to stay upright. Analysts compared this moment to Tank's knockout against Leo Santa Cruz. Small angle adjustments, devastating precision.
How do I even start to break down a Tank Davis versus Jake Paul fight? Tank, a massively powerful fighter at 135 pounds, but his punch output is among the lowest in the sport. Jake has a pretty decent punch output for a guy that's 200 pounds. He hits hard in his own right, but doesn't have the skill and capabilities anywhere close, or the feet, or the hand speed, or the eyes anywhere close to Tank Davis, but has a power that Tank Davis has probably never felt, but just because Jake is naturally 70 pounds bigger than him, right? So 10 rounds, 3 minutes, who starts to show the wear and tear first? I know if Tank touches him on the jaw, it's probably not going to feel like roses, regardless if he's 135 or 150 or whatever he steps in that night. He's still a Tank and has still put guys down as he's gone up in weight, but Jake is just so much bigger. How much will the power that Tank has at the lower weight classes affect?
Jake somehow survived the round again, but it was now clear Tank was chasing the finish. Round 6 was the attempted comeback. Jake came out aggressive. Huge mistake. His corner clearly told him he needed something big to get Tank's respect back. And for a few seconds, he did. Jake threw one of his best right hands of the fight, and the sound echoed through the arena. Tank felt it. He took a step back. Jake pressed forward. Fans thought maybe, just maybe, Jake could turn things around. But Tank knew Jake would overcommit, and he was waiting. Tank's entire style revolves around timing, and round 7 was a masterclass. Jake kept loading the right hand, Tank kept slipping to the inside. The trap was obvious to analysts watching the broadcast. Tank was baiting Jake into the same exchange over and over, gathering data, waiting for the perfect angle. Jake threw a lazy jab. Tank slipped left. Jake launched the right hand, and Tank uncorked a counter left that froze Jake in place. Round 8 was the end. Jake entered the round hurt. Tank entered the round calculating. And within the first 40 seconds, Tank landed the punch that decided everything. A perfectly timed left cross that caught Jake stepping in. Jake collapsed backward, hitting the canvas hard. The arena gasped. The referee immediately moved in. Jake tried to get up, but his legs wouldn't cooperate. The fight was waved off. Gervonta Davis had just knocked out a man nearly 50 pounds heavier. And it wasn't lucky. It wasn't a fluke. It was skill. Pure, undeniable skill.
Overall, Jake, how'd you feel in there?
I just felt flat, man. Not my best performance. I guess that happens in the sport. You got to peak right at the right moment. You only get one night, one chance, and I messed that up, I guess. But war, tough kid. I didn't have my best performance. All fair play.
As soon as the knockout clip hit social media, the entire boxing world lit up. Analysts said Tank had officially proven why he is one of the most dangerous fighters in the world, regardless of weight. The KO quickly became the #1 trending clip in all combat sports.
I knew he deserved to be in a pound for pound. Absolutely. Do Terrence Crawford deserve to be in a pound for pound? Absolutely. But what about Gervonta Tank Davis? What about him? I mean, he deserved to be somewhere also in the pound for pound.
Why don't they give him that credit?
Because he was affiliated with me. He was affiliated with me.
Promoters who doubted Tank's power at higher weights admitted they underestimated him. Commentators highlighted how rare it is to see such clean timing land on a naturally bigger man.
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
Fans called it Tank's greatest highlight ever. And Jake, his reaction was surprisingly humble. He admitted Tank's speed was on a different level and said the knockout was something he didn't see coming at all. Jake still has fan interest, still has drawing power, but this knockout puts a serious dent in the world title narrative he had been pushing for years. Analysts believe Jake will likely move back to influencer level or legend level opponents instead of real contenders. Facing someone like Anthony Joshua now seems completely off the table.
My brother is fighting Anthony Joshua.
The experience difference, Anthony Joshua was a former heavyweight champion who's knocked out heavyweight champions.
Quite the undertaking for Jake. What do you think is going to happen?
Expedition.
Oh, they're going to go on an expedition.
Is that a thing?
Exhibition.
Exhibition.
And Jake's team will have to reevaluate the path forward.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're gonna do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're gonna spot us some pounds. Tank has one job to do, that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. Tank is telling anybody that will listen that there's a size problem. My skills and my experience in boxing, I do not have to wonder who's in the bar tonight. Any bar I go to, I rule the bar. No, it turns out that you don't. Just need some big guy to corner you, apparently. Boxing has never stood its ground. Boxing has never been able to explain why Floyd needed a half hour to get rid of a guy who's never boxed before. Tank Davis has already began this. When you choose a dum-dum, don't be surprised when he goes out and acts like a dum-dum.
For Tank, the narrative flipped overnight. Before this fight, a lot of fans and pundits thought the real Tank was gone. They looked at the draw against Lamont Roach and said his focus was slipping, that he was more interested in clout, cars, and circus fights than real legacy.
Tank is done. Tank is hung him up, shoes off, get the bag, put a plaque up, he done. Tank is done. Period.
When you say done, you mean like not fighting anymore? Or not?
Tank is checked out mentally. Tank is gone mentally. Tank looking for the big bag of Jake Paul, Pacquiao, something sort, and he's looking to, hey, I'll see you later. Tank is standing. He's not gonna fight Shakur Stevenson at all. At all. I don't care how much money Turkey offered, give him 4 Lamborghinis, whatever. Tank ain't taking that fight.
This knockout shut that talk down in one night. The questions started immediately. Does he keep chasing these monsters, or does he step back and rebuild against fighters closer to his level and size? Does he still talk about world titles, or does he accept that his lane is entertainment and not elite competition? Some fans roasted him, others actually respected him more after seeing him take a risk that most real boxers would never even consider. Love him or hate him, he sold the fight, walked forward, and paid for it in full.
Jake Paul, he's a YouTuber. No, he ain't.
No,
he's a boxer.
No.
Jake Paul's a millionaire.
Yeah.
Jake Paul's not training at the local YMCA.
No.
He's got real coaches on salary.
He got real coaches.
He's got high-level coaches.
Yes.
And he lives to box now.
Yes.
He's been boxing seriously now, so he should be able to compete.
Yes.
He's a boxer. He's not that same kid. That's why I keep telling those MMA guys. Every time they tell me, I got a chance to fight Jake Paul, I'm like, man, don't do it because
he boxes. That's what he does.
He's a boxer. You don't know how to box.
No.
Like my friend Ben Askren.
Yeah.
Ben went and fought him. Ben should have never fought him. He could never box.
No.
He's a wrestler.
One thing is clear though, when the bell rings, nobody cares where you started. You either have the skills to survive or you get exposed fast. In the end, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis was exactly what people feared and wanted at the same time. It was dangerous, entertaining, and completely real. A massive cruiserweight got folded by a smaller pound-for-pound level puncher. The influencer experiment crashed straight into elite talent, and we all saw what that looks like in 4K.
And I have to give Eddie Hearn credit, right? It comes down to the fighters. Jake wanted to do this and AJ wanted to do this, and Eddie delivered for AJ. If AJ had said, hey, I'm not interested, or maybe I need more money, that might have caused hurdles. But once there was an alignment between the two fighters that, yes, we'll do this now, I think I gotta give the props to Eddie Hearn. He delivered. We gave him our offer, a certain amount of money, and he was able to make it happen. I don't think it's the most he's ever made in a fight, and I can't really speak to it.
Yeah.
That's a much better question for AJ or Eddie. But it's a great payday, of course. Anytime you fight Jake Paul, there's different, spectrums of what great payday means. But anytime you fight Jake Paul, of course, you're going to get a great payday. Jake is the face of modern era boxing.
So now the question is for you. Did this fight prove that guys like Jake should stop calling out real killers? Or did he earn your respect by stepping in there with Tank at all? And after that knockout, do you think we ever see Gervonta Davis in a real title fight again? Or is he staying in this super fight circus lane for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments, argue it out, and let me know who you think won more tonight, Tank's legacy or Jake's respect. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Fight Field. I'll catch you in the next video.